I was fortunate enough to be awarded the Pamela Howland Individual Artist Grant, and for which I am just infinitely grateful. And this has allowed me to really expand what I'm doing as an artist. Both the financial aspect of it obviously helps to provide materials and just be able to maybe be a little less frugal with what I'm doing. And then that allows me to think a little bigger in my ideas and actually executing them. Also, the recognition I think is really important. To feel that I am in some way reaching somebody, that what I'm trying to say is finding an audience. My name is René Vasquez. I am a local artist here in Winston-Salem. After I did receive the grant and looking a little more into Pamela Howland and what she did, I was really inspired by what the big thing I took away from my research into her life and her work was this idea that art, music should be for everyone. That to me is a big part of what I think about. And in fact, one of the reasons I left art when I did years ago was because I felt that art was just this rarefied world. I was kind of on this trajectory. I went to art school in LA. It was a machine. I faced a lot of opposition to my values, and I was just very frustrated. I never thought I would come back to art. I thought that was something that I just had to leave behind. And when my partner Kim and I moved to Winston, I suddenly felt this compulsion again to create. And if something like that comes back, you can't squander that. So I just kind of dove in. I always felt like a real support from her. Even these things that I thought I had left behind forever, she would pick up on and she would just be really supportive and gentle. From her perspective, it was like I was taking not just a hiatus from art, but a hiatus from myself. Getting back to it was really retrieving a huge part of myself. And in that I felt, oh my God, I'm a better partner. I'm all these things because I'm a more whole person. It's been a really interesting process because I feel like I'm learning everything all over again. And in fact, the kind of the big title of all the work I've been doing for the last year and a half is All the Things I Do Not Know. And so for me, it was kind of this unlearning and relearning at the same time. And so even the process of making these pieces is just this constant layering process. And it's sort of kind of an analog to life, I think, where you just throw at it what you've got, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but you keep at it, keep layering, and you get this richness, and eventually it just looks like something or feels like something that is not even complete, but maybe balanced or right. I tried to limit myself in the materials I use, and originally it started out just as a practical thing. I didn't want to invest in all the materials I was used to. I just wanted some way to express myself, and I had just some random pieces of tissue paper that were, from packages or whatever. And I thought, well, this is kind of interesting. And I sort of liked how they layered and you kind of mix colors. And that's how I started. I just started sort of experimenting, just layering different colors on top of each other, cutting out shapes, using random shapes that were just kind of discards from other things I had used. All of these pieces kind of started out the same way. I really have no preconception of what it's going to be. I'm kind of in a state of mind, a lot of times influenced by music or just maybe what I've read or just seen in the world. So I'm kind of in a certain state when I start, and I usually just start with a random piece. And then it really is a matter of either just, grabbing a scrap that somehow seems right, or getting an idea of a shape that I need and then cutting that out and just layering and layering and layering. Of course, some of the pieces weeks later I'll look at and feel, they still need more work, and they become something completely different. But what was originally there remains there, even if it's hidden. Again, it's kind of like being a person, right? You have all these layers, all these things that are in you, even if they're not at the surface anymore. They're part of what makes you who you are. And same with these paintings, all the layers that went into it, even if You can't necessarily see them. It's all part of what into the work. I think it's really impossible to be an artist without an audience. That audience needs to have agency. Ultimately, it's not, there's no point, and it's unfulfilling if I'm just working in a vacuum. So I'm always wanting to have that connection with a viewer. Everyone brings to anything their own experience. And, I want to be part of that dialogue. I want to say, look, here is this thing, and, what do you make of it? And I think that's essential to have that. So being able to make art and having the opportunity from my community to give me, an even greater ability to make what I love and what I'm compelled to make, I think is just one part of that equation. So having this body of work now that was made possible by this grant, I want to show it. I want to share it.